Hi there, Jack Hall here. Once again, filming inside of our travel trailer. This time we're just outside of Deming, New Mexico, hoping to maybe get some photographs of the lightning storms with monsoon season. Today I want to talk about how much is $3.1 trillion. When Donald Trump was president, he and Congress together authorized a total of $3.1 trillion in spending to shore up the economy. The first was $2.2 trillion for the CARES Act, and the second was $900 billion for COVID-19 relief. And you add those together, it comes to $3.1 trillion. Then, after Joe Biden was elected, he and Congress also authorized a total of $3.1 trillion. So those are just like enormous numbers. It's something that it's very hard for me to comprehend. You know, the sun that supplies all of the heat and light on Earth is 93 million miles away, and now we're talking about a trillion. So I thought, how can a person understand how big that is? I thought, well, okay, a second is a relatively small unit of time. Let's convert seconds into years and see how many it takes to make 3 trillion. There's 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, 365 days in a year. There you go. So 1 year is 31.5 million seconds. 10 years is 315 million seconds. 100 years is 3.15 billion seconds. 1,000 years is 31.5 billion seconds. 10,000 years is 315 billion seconds. And 100,000 years is 3.15 trillion seconds. So each of those two presidents authorized spending, excess spending, of $3.1 trillion. That's the equivalent of 100,000 years in seconds. Now, the BEA, which is the Bureau of Economic Analysis, part of the government, said that in 2021, the GDP was $23.17 trillion. The GDP is, I'm reading this because it's kind of complex, the final goods and services produced in the U.S. without double counting the intermediate goods and services used up to produce them. And so what that means is if you make a car and it has tires on it, there was a company that made the tires, and the tires that they made that went on that car wouldn't be counted as part of the GDP when they made them, because they're being counted as part of the GDP when it's on the car, so that you don't double count those 4 tires and, ultimately, thousands of tires and millions of miles of wire and so forth. So if we look at GDP of $23.17 trillion and $3.1 trillion in excess spending, that comes out to 13.57%, twice. 3.1 trillion one time and 3.1 trillion the next time. Now, government only has 3 ways of getting money. They can collect taxes, they can borrow money by issuing bonds, and they can print money. Well, in neither instance were the taxes increased. So it didn't come from taxes. The bond sales didn't appreciably increase, so they didn't get it by borrowing. So what that means is they got that money by printing the money. So if you print 13.5% of the GDP in 1 year and then a year later print 13.5% again, that's a lot of inflationary pressure. If it worked out precisely, that would mean we would be looking at 27%. I think and hope that the people who are responsible for managing the economy are good at juggling, and they can make it so that it will be something less than 27%. But in any case, we're probably looking at a minimum, I would think, of 15%. If any of you can come up with a way that that's not going to happen, or know of a video that's been made that can explain it, I'm not an economist, it's just kind of common sense. And I would love to hear what you have to say. You can email me at eyesguymodesto@gmail.com, and I would love to hear your comments. Thank you.